Welcome to this explainer. If you've ever planted a seed, watched those very first tiny roots appear, and literally pictured yourself harvesting a huge crop of creamy, delicious avocados, well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're debunking the myths and diving into the real, practical science of growing an avocado tree that actually produces fruit. We're going to follow the complete journey, right from choosing the exact right tree to creating the perfect environment for a massive harvest. Okay, let's dive into this. Because almost all of us have tried this classic method, right? You take an avocado pit, stick a few toothpicks on the sides, suspend it over a glass of water, and just wait for that little root to drop down. It's a really fantastic, fun experiment, especially for a houseplant. But if your ultimate goal is to grow actual avocados that you can eat, this method usually ends in massive disappointment. I mean, unless your goal was just to grow a fun leafy twig for your kitchen window. The difference between seed-grown and grafted trees shows exactly why serious growers skip the whole glass of water routine. See, seed-grown trees are essentially a genetic lottery. Because the seed is genetically different from the fruit you originally ate, the avocados it eventually produces, if it ever actually does, could have completely different, often really undesirable characteristics. Plus, it can take many, many years to mature. On the flip side, we have grafted trees. This is exactly why serious commercial growers use them. A grafted tree perfectly combines a highly desirable quality fruit-producing variety with a strong, super hardy rootstock. If you're genuinely serious about harvesting avocados, buying a healthy grafted tree is absolutely the only practical route to take. Moving into Section 1, choosing the right tree, because variety is key. This absolutely crucial step happens long before you even think about picking up a shovel. Do not just grab the very first tree you see at the nursery. Before you buy anything, you need to answer 3 critical questions. First, does this variety actually suit my specific climate? Second, does it fit my available space? Some trees grow really wide and spreading while others shoot straight up like a column. And third, and this is important, do you actually like the fruit? I highly recommend hitting up a local farmer's market to taste different varieties, because some are super rich and creamy while others are a lot lighter. Oh, and here's a pro tip for you. Different varieties mature at completely different times of the year. If you combine compatible varieties, you can potentially extend your harvest season dramatically. Section 2. Perfect planting conditions, focusing on location and soil. Because, let's be honest, where you put your tree matters just as much as the variety you picked out. Notice this target temperature range. Avocados are essentially tropical or subtropical plants. They actively want to grow when it's comfortably warm, roughly between 65 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Cold is an incredibly important factor here, especially for young trees, which are extremely vulnerable. A brief cold snap can severely damage their leaves, and prolonged freezing, that can literally kill the tree outright. So the crucial point is this: survival and productivity are 2 entirely different goals. An avocado tree can technically survive in conditions where it absolutely cannot thrive or produce fruit. Simply keeping the tree alive through a freezing winter or in a bad spot doesn't mean you're ever going to get avocados. You have to aim for an environment that actively supports productivity, not just basic bare minimum survival. And speaking of the environment, let's talk about the actual ground you're planting in. Avocados demand at least 8 hours of good sunlight, but your drainage strategy is absolutely make or break. Avocado roots are incredibly sensitive and they completely despise permanently soggy conditions. If you've got sandy or loamy soil, level ground works perfectly. It just drains well naturally. If you have sloping ground, that's excellent. It naturally moves excess water and even heavy cold air right away from the roots. But if you're dealing with heavy clay soil, you've got to build a raised mound, about 1 to 2 feet high and several feet wide, just to ensure those roots stay elevated and well drained. When it's finally time to get your hands dirty, follow these 4 steps to protect those highly sensitive shallow roots. First, resist the urge to dig a massive, cavernous hole filled with special potting soils. Dig it only about as deep as the existing root ball. Second, very gently loosen any tightly circling roots. Third, backfill the hole using the native soil you just dug out, making absolutely sure not to plant the tree excessively deep. And fourth, apply a generous layer of coarse organic mulch. This stops hot weather from drying out those shallow feeder roots. Just make sure to keep that mulch pulled away from the actual trunk so you don't accidentally rot the wood. All right, Section 3, watering and ongoing care. The balancing act. Now that your tree is safely in the ground, it's time to keep it alive and thriving. And this brilliantly illustrates the fine line we're walking between moist soil and waterlogged soil.
Moist soil is exactly what you want. It keeps that delicate, shallow root system adequately hydrated, which is totally vital when the tree is young and might actually need water several times a week. Waterlogged soil, on the other hand, acts like a literal swamp. It heavily invites root rot and disease, practically suffocating the poor tree.
Once your tree is mature, it's going to need roughly 2 inches of water per week during those hot summer conditions. You really need to pay close attention to this because if a productive tree experiences severe drought stress during its critical fruit development window, it will actually drop its fruit right onto the ground. Nobody wants that. We also need to briefly touch on feeding your tree. A balanced fertilizer formulated for citrus and similar fruit trees works great, but please heed this warning. More fertilizer does not automatically mean more avocados. In fact, if you over-fertilize, the tree's going to put all its energy into excessive vegetative growth, meaning lots of big green leaves and branches, instead of producing flowers and fruit. Always dose spaced strictly on the tree's size and age. Section 4. From flowers to fruit. The exciting phase. We have finally arrived at the actual production of avocados. Now, you might have heard this rumor that you absolutely need 2 avocado trees to get fruit. Well, actually, scratch that. It's not exactly true. Avocado flowers have this fascinating biological quirk where they effectively change their reproductive roles at different times of the day. We classify these as type A or type B. It's basically nature's clever way of reducing self-pollination. Having a mix of type A and type B trees nearby can definitely increase cross-pollination for big commercial orchards. But for a home grower, let me completely reassure you, a single, healthy avocado tree is still fully capable of self-pollination and producing a great crop of fruit all on its own. When your tree finally does bloom, you're going to see hundreds, maybe even thousands of tiny flowers and miniature fruit. And then a whole bunch of them will just fall off. Do not panic. The golden rule here is that the tree is essentially adjusting its crop to what it can realistically support. It naturally produces vastly more flowers than it can ever carry to maturity. When those tiny fruits drop, it's simply matching its crop load to its current size and health. It is a completely 100% normal part of the process. Of course, even perfectly planted trees face a few threats. The giant whitefly can leave your leaves super sticky with honeydew and white material. Your best defense here isn't harsh chemicals, but integrated pest management using natural predators. But the much more serious threat is Phytophthora root rot. And look at the root cause of this: poor drainage. This proves that many of the absolute worst avocado problems actually begin entirely underground, way before you ever see a single symptom on the leaves. Good soil drainage, proper planting depth, and really careful irrigation are your ultimate defenses. So, let's bring it all together. Here are your 6 golden principles for real fruit production. 1. Choose a grafted tree. 2. Match that variety perfectly to your climate, your space, and your personal taste. 3. Provide at least 8 hours of sunlight. 4. Prioritize excellent drainage. 5. Keep those shallow roots consistently moist without turning the soil into a swamp. And 6. Use your organic mulch properly. Remember, patience is key here, folks. Even with a highly advanced grafted tree, meaningful fruit production still takes a few years of careful stewardship. Growing an avocado tree isn't just about planting a seed for a fun little distraction next month. It's about cultivating a real resource that, with the right science and care, can literally feed you and your family for years to come. So I leave you with this question. The next time you slice open a delicious avocado, are you going to reach for the toothpicks and just hope for the best? Or are you going to take what you've learned today and start building a genuinely productive tree? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy growing!